I'm going to use a quarter or a half of a mini Inferno from Self-Reliance Outfitters. I'll talk a little bit more about this and the Canteen Cup cook set, because the Canteen Cup cook set is one of the central pieces of equipment that I use as a minimum piece of equipment, and build all my other kits around it. And actually, that's not right. And this goes out the door with me if I'm just going to the mailbox. If I'm working in the yard, anywhere I go, this is my minimum kit. Okay, let's get this fire started. I build up a little bit of a sweat. Getting camp set up and everything. I'm actually glad I got these mini Infernos. I could have found some dry tinder. In the wet woods like this, what I'd be doing is looking for a tree that's leaning or a tree that's down, and look underneath it for our dry material. Yeah, I think I'm going to use a half of a mini Inferno. Just my tearing it fluffed it up, but these things will literally light while wet. And I tell you what, this is a little bit dry tinder here. I've got this up high. This isn't my normal fire lay, but I've got some other dry, somewhat dry kindling here and tinder, and well, not tinder, kindling, and I'm just gonna get the fire started and feed it, and then just keep feeding it until I got a good bed of coals that, you know, we can do something with. We gotta be careful we don't snuff this thing out. The woods is wet. I can hear it steaming and hissing and spitting. It is a wet woods. Rained, like I'd mentioned earlier, all day yesterday, most of the night. Most of today. I'm just going to have to be careful, let that mini Inferno dry some wood out and get this thing going. And I might be cranking out the other half of that thing. This is why guys have birch bark, fat wood, all kinds of stuff in their kits. I'm not quite there yet. Tomorrow I'll take you guys out and show you some fat wood that I found, and it's really interesting because I think 90% of people would have walked right past it, and I'm not real clever. I discovered it on accident. Okay, I'm gonna concentrate on this fire. It's smoking, it's wet. I really love a lot of the guys on YouTube as far as being able to watch YouTube, refine your skills. There's just a lot of talent out there. And I'd like to mention coming in, you know, some of these guys put words to things that I've been doing all along and really didn't have a good thing to call it. So I'm just going to keep working this. Hopefully some of that will get dried out. I don't want to put too much on. We'll smother the fire. I'm going to start getting some little larger guys ready. This is going to be a smoky fire. Now, you shouldn't add more wood to this right now at this point. The ideal situation is let the flames come up through the wood that you already have on, and once that happens, then add more. And the flames aren't coming above what I've got on there. And it is struggling because, like I said several times, everything is wet. But once we get this fire started, we'll be able to start drying some stuff out, and we can cook that jambalaya. Now, these cameras, it's starting to get dark pretty quick. It's close to 8 o'clock right now, if it's not past 8 o'clock. And so it's dusk. And last time I was out here, I heard coyotes howl. So I'm gonna try to leave the camera on and see if we can hear them. There wasn't a lot of them, you know, howling all over the place, going back and forth. It was like one lone coyote that I heard the last time I was in here. Sounds. I never did hear the coyotes last night, but another local town about 5 miles further north of me had a fire last night. Them and another neighboring town's fire whistles went off around midnight, 1 a.m., and they sounded a lot like electronic coyotes or wolves. And I was listening very hard after that to see if the coyotes would answer the fire whistles, but they didn't. We've really been seeing a lot of them in this part of the eastern woodlands, especially the last 20 years. 25 years ago, there were very few of them. California had a lot. They had coyotes in Beverly Hills long before we had them in Pennsylvania. Now they're prevalent, they're everywhere. Our turkey population is great. I turned the camera on because I was driving along, and I don't know if you can see him, but right there is a hen turkey. Or to see her, I should say. There's... They really take off. 20 years ago, when there was no coyotes, there was not very many turkeys either. But there was a ton of pheasants, wild pheasants, unstocked pheasants everywhere. That's gone due to farming practices. A lot of our hedgerows went away. A lot of cover went away in the farmlands where the pheasants like to be. And so the pheasant population has declined. There's still a lot of pheasant hunting. Our game commission raises and stocks pheasants, but the wild turkey population has exploded. There's wild turkeys everywhere. We're littered with turkeys. And I'm actually thankful for my mini Inferno right now. I could put this fire out easily by rushing it and trying to jam a whole bunch of stuff on there. If I pass out from shortness of breath, guys, give me a nudge. Or if I get smoke inhalation, give me a bump. Fire likes chaos. If you have everything laid out, uniform, like a log cabin. Log cabin's a good fire build. You don't get enough air. Where you have all your kindling just kind of piled up, the fire can get up through it. It's not smothering itself. Oh, this wood is really steaming. The pieces I got are somewhat dry. You hear them crack nicely, but they'll dry out. We get a little bed of coals here. We'll have a nice fire tonight.